to see you there. So, the next top agent, what is it really all about? Well, it's really all about our guiding principle. And the guiding principle is that you, as a real estate agent, you are in business for yourself, but not by yourself. These classes are here to help you as a real estate agent generate more leads. These classes are also here to help agents close the leads that they generate. That's what it's all about. You got to generate them and you got to get them to closing. As do we all. That's how we get paid in our respective businesses. So I'm helping you. So I do hope that you'll consider helping me. And really, it's I when you help me by giving me a referral, I'm really trying very hard to help you in making a good impression on that referral. We want them to thank you for making the referral. We want to treat them well. We want them to be well advised, well educated, comfortable throughout this process, and attentive to their needs. And it's tough. It's tough for buyers right now. So we do everything that we can to work with buyers and strategize to help them get their offers accepted. And that's actually a class for another day. The classes on getting offers accepted in multiple bid situations. So anyway, and yes, it is my mantra to never pre-approve someone that I cannot get to the closing table. I really respect your time. I respect your buyer's time. We never want someone out shopping who goes under contract and gets denied after signing that contract. The other mantra we live by is to never deny someone who successfully closes with another lender. And what that means is we work really, really hard to exhaust all the possibilities to coach them up on their credit, to find every penny of income, to do everything that we can to get them approved for the house that they want. So please consider using us if you have a home buyer in need of a pre-approval or someone who just has mortgage questions. So let's get to today's topic. And today's topic is expired listings. Now, as we go, this class is being recorded. There's no prohibitions on you on your end recording if you'd like to. I do notice occasionally someone will come on and do the AI note taker. No worries there either. I have no problem with with AI listening to me and taking notes for you. So today we're going to talk about the opportunity that exists in expired listings. And I know that in this market, with homes going so quickly, you think, where the heck are the expireds? We're going to take a look at that. There is still an opportunity in expired listings. And we'll go through it. We'll put some numbers to it, and we'll take a look at some agents that are doing very well with their expired listings. But the first thing is, why do you want to go after expired listings? Well, the first thing is this: they've already told someone they want to sell. An expired listing is someone that wants to sell their house. Not only do they want to sell their house, but they were willing to list with an agent. So, unlike perhaps a for sale by owner who may not believe in the system, may not believe in the value of having a real estate agent list their home, an expired listing does. They want to sell their house. They're willing to do it with an agent. They believe in the system. They've had it listed. And then the other thing, and to me, this is extremely important, they're inexpensive to reach. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about open houses and, meeting buyers and sellers at open houses. It's a place where people interested in buying and selling a home are going to congregate. So it behooves you to be there and meet these people. And when you find one that's unattached to another real estate agent, get them to latch on to you. And you can do an open house for virtually no expense. Expired listings come close to that. You probably do have to spend a little money to get you can go to the MLS and pull a list of expireds for nothing more than your bright fees or whichever MLS you're on. beyond that, you may need to spend a little money to actually get their contact information so that you can reach out to them. Um, but by and large, expireds are relatively inexpensive to reach. And then you couple that with the fact that they are actually wanting to sell their home. You know that because they listed, and they're willing to list with an agent. You know that because they did. And it's just a highly concentrated, highly focused way to spend your money from a marketing and sales perspective. So I just think that expired listings are a very cost-effective way to build your pipeline. All right, and this is my coaching moment. To me, the key to this business, especially those of you who may be newer to the business, you really want to be cost effective. You don't want to come in spending money on every new gimmick that's out there. Um, because if those things don't convert well, you're going to end up spending your way right out of the business. Okay, expired listings are tried and true. Um, you know, and you're staying cost effective, but really to make it cost effective, and this goes with any strategy you may choose, whether it's open houses, whether it's expireds, whether it's FSBOs, to really make it cost effective, to really get the value from the marketing dollar that you spend, is you have to do it consistently. All right. And we'll talk about this. I'm going to talk about some agents that I know that do expired listings. And the one common element that they all have, the one thing that they have in common, is they make it a regular part of what they do. Okay. They get up, they brush their teeth, they eat their breakfast, they go to the office, they call their expireds. It is a regular routine that's done every day. Okay. Just like a gym routine, um, just like any routine that you have any day, you got to make this part of a regular routine. And that is really true for any marketing uh, effort that you put out. Um, I see Anna's asking, what resources do you find best for getting accurate phone numbers? I'm going to come back to that, and there are several. You're about 3 or 4 slides ahead of me here. All right. Again, you also want to be systematic. Okay. And we're going to talk about systems to put in place. Regularly drawing down getting the list of expired agents, having a reliable system, a reliable source to get their phone numbers, to get their email addresses. Okay. And then using some technology, a CRM, some dialing software, things that make you, you know, that make you go quickly, enable you to make a lot of contacts with people, and enable you to not lose contact with people. Again, that's where a CRM really comes into place. There's a timing to these things. We're going to talk about it. There's an approach to an expired listing when it's newly expired, and then there's a couple of approaches to expired listings once they've been expired for a while and they haven't relisted. Okay. And it's the systems that you have in place that enable you to approach them early and then to come back and approach them later on as well. All right. And then I always like to talk about this. One of the keys to expired listings is just getting on the phone, getting that list, getting on the phone, getting them into a CRM, maybe sending some direct mail to them, email and so forth. But to the extent that you are calling them, that you have to develop an approach and a script. I'm a big believer in scripting, and I don't mean necessarily word for word scripts. I mean have an outline as to how you're going to approach a person to engage in the conversation that you need to engage in to get the information from them that you need. You know, you want to get the information to uncover their needs and uncover their wants, and that's how you can satisfy those things. And it's at the moment that they see that you can satisfy their needs, their wants, help them reach their goals, that's when you make the sale. And that comes with scripting, and it doesn't come easy. It doesn't come naturally. You really have to get outside of your comfort zone, okay, and keep doing it until you are comfortable. I always like to bring up these guys. This is my daughter. When she was about 18 years old, introduced me to this group called Yes Theory. They're YouTubers, and what they do is their motto is seek discomfort. And it says here, we believe life's greatest moments, and look, your career's greatest moments and greatest accomplishments. You know, these things happen, they exist outside of your comfort zone. So when you get outside of your comfort zone is when, and work outside that comfort zone until you get comfortable with it. That's when you really start to achieve things. And that comes with, again, getting your list, getting on the phone, do it consistently, be systematic. You're going to be awkward. You're going to feel uncomfortable at first, but it will come to you. Okay. And once you do, again, now the system's in place, and the listing appointments, the listing contracts, and the sales begin to roll. All right. So moving on, let's just identify the size of the opportunity. And it's granted, it's not what it has been in years past, pre-pandemic years when houses were not flying off the shelves like hotcakes. But there is still a pretty big opportunity here. So this is Burlington County. This is as of this morning. And oh, by the way, uh, the irony of this class this morning is this morning's October 1st. So what's the day you want to check your expireds to see, how many new expireds have come on the market? It's the first of the month. So I'm expecting every one of you, as soon as we wrap up this call, to get out there and start getting after those expired listings, because you know that there are some top agents out there that are doing it already. Okay, doing it literally as we speak. So in Burlington County, and for the last 6 months, there have been 332 expired listings. In the last 6 months, there have been 148 withdrawn listings. Bucks County, just for those of you that are in Pennsylvania, I'm just using these as sort of sample counties in each state. In Bucks County, there are 272 expired listings in the last 6 months and 141 withdrawn listings in the last 6 months. And again, that is as of this morning. I pulled these stats off the Bright MLS this morning. So what's important to know, hey, these numbers are not as large as they have been, but they're not zero. Expireds and withdrawns are still there. And part of the art of what we're going to do is, find a way to get in contact with these people, have engaging conversations so that they'll want to talk to you. And you're going to hear some pretty interesting reasons, but one of the script questions that I always like to put in there are, what do you think? Why do you think the house didn't sell? And you're going to hear some pretty surprising things. From people about why they think the house didn't sell. But again, the expireds and the withdrawns, they are still out there. So let's talk about how to reach them. How do you get to expired listings? First thing that you can do is you can find them on the MLS. So I don't think any of you don't know how to do this, but I'm just going to take you here. Oh, my URL's invalid. That's good to know. Let's see. I'm going to go here, and this is quite simple. In the MLS, you choose the expireds. Now, I want to show you something. This is going to show me all the expireds in the last 6 months. If you don't know how to manipulate this, I can go back. What if I want to see all the expireds, people that expired last year? They expired and it's been a year. I'm not perfectly a year, I know it's 365. So let's just go 365 to 730. Now that will be everyone that expired over a year ago. Whoops, maybe I don't want 5,000 of them. I'm going to choose a county. Let's go with Burlington County, New Jersey. Make sure I got my numbers in the right place. And here you are. Here's a list of 837 listings that expired in Burlington County between, October 1st, 2022 and October 1st, 2023. So they expired a year ago. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up because those people that expired a year ago are not getting barraged with phone calls any longer. Now, granted, people that expired a year ago, many of them may have gone back on the market, many of them may have sold. So out of this 837, you have to weed that out. That's not so difficult to do. See, I just chose all of them. Now I'm going to export the list. Feel free to follow along if you want to pull up your MLS. I am going to go with a public record export, and I'm going to export it. Now you've got, this is, getting to the data. All right, it popped up over here. Here's the list that I just exported from the MLS. All right, so I'm just going to do this real quickly. If you come over here, so these are all listings that expired between October 1st, 2022 and October 1st, 2023. Now, you can see by these deed record dates and these settle dates that many of them relisted and sold again. Now, I am going to, bear with me, this is an Excel spreadsheet. That little thing that I did right there is I just selected all the records in the spreadsheet. This takes a little Excel doing, so you gotta know Excel a little bit here. But I'm going to sort the list, and I'm going to choose this settle date. All right. Actually, I'm going to do the settle date. So this is the last time the house sold. What was the settlement date? So that is AR, column AR. Bear with me, guys. AR. Oldest to newest. That's fine. Yeah, I'm actually going to go newest to oldest. Okay, so I just sorted the list. Now, we're going to come out here. Where's my AR? Here it is. So you can see all these people, see these dates in 2024? So even though they expired between October 1st, 2022 and October 1st, 2023, they relisted or otherwise found a way to sell their house. Okay? So you want to kind of dig deeper. See these people in 21. These are people that did not relist and sell. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of cut it off at 2022. Like, see these people that, bought in, it's almost like they bought and immediately turned around to sell it. They might have been flips. But I come down here, and some of these homes, you see what I've got? I'm down about half the list. So out of the 800, about half of them relisted and sold. But does everyone see where I am here? I'm looking at this column is a settle date. So someone bought it in 21, listed it for sale in 22, and it expired. They may have listed it for sale in 23 and it expired, but they didn't relist it and sell it. So what I can do is essentially take all this. These people did go back on the market and sold it again. I just take that out, and here I am. Here's my list. Okay, what do you do with this list? So first thing you have is here you've got the owner's name. Obviously, you've got the address. So with those two bits of information, obviously you could hit them with mail, but that's enough information for you to go and get their phone number, all right, and to get an email address for them. It's a process, kind of loosely known as skip tracing, okay? So we found them in the MLS, all right? And in this case, yes, I did pull the old ones. You can do it with new ones as well, okay? And then you can use a service to cross-reference the phone number. And this is getting to Anna's question. What are services that you feel provide accurate phone numbers for these folks? And it's not just phone numbers. You want their email addresses as well. You want to try to communicate with them through multiple channels, okay? Because obviously you want to make contact. So Yes. What are some of the services? Let me just kind of lay them all out here. So RedX is one. I hear, very good things about the accuracy levels of RedX. And if you subscribe to RedX, it also has a CRM uh, built into it. And by CRM, I mean a system that enables you to, put them on a drip campaign for email, put them on a drip campaign for text, put them on a callback cycle. You know, you said, hey, I talked to this person, didn't get through. I did have a conversation, what have you. You set an appropriate callback date. And each day, there you go. You come in the morning and your day is organized for you. These are the people that need a phone call today. And if you do that consistently, you will get through to people, you will have conversations, and you will get those listings. Okay. Mojo Dialer is another one. Um, just judging by its name, you can tell that it's sort of primary function, the function that it kind of leads with is that it does automated dialing for you. And if you've ever worked with an automated dialer, it comes in, there are different settings to it. You can have the system automatically dial the next phone number for you when you hang up with a call. You can set it to do something called predictive dialing, where it may dial multiple numbers, knowing that, the voicemail rate, the hang up rate, and so forth are, it's a parameter built on experience. So it might dial multiple phone numbers and just, the one that answers, drop it into you. And you're in front of a computer, just like I am here. I know you can't see my computer, but um, when the person answers or when the phone's being dialed, their data comes up, their record in the CRM pops up on your screen. I do this myself, and it's a challenge. I challenge myself to do it. The phone is, and I set it so that the phone is ringing. And when the phone is ringing, I'm reading the notes. I'm practicing how to pronounce their name. If it's an unusual name, I'm reading the notes. And I deal with buyers, obviously. So, just got married, going to look for the house after the honeymoon. Honeymoon was September 1st to September 10th. So I'm calling, reading those notes real quickly, and I have something to talk to them about. Hey, how was the honeymoon? I hope it was wonderful. And, you know, disarm them just a little bit. And now you can, have a real human conversation before you get to the sales conversation. Okay. So, RedX, Mojo Dialer have those. Vulcan 7 has this built in. And we're actually in a few minutes going to look at a brief video that's produced by Vulcan 7. So, RedX does this, Vulcan 7 does this. They not only make their service available, but to make you better and more effective at using their service, they also have a YouTube channel where you can get instruction. How do I set the settings on my predictive dialer? How do I script? What are some good scripts to use? What types of approaches should I take in varying points in the cycle of an expired, a brand new expired, an older expired? There's lots of good information out there. YouTube's a wonderful thing, in my opinion. I'm a little crazy. I usually have YouTube or a podcast going in my car anytime I have a drive that's more than 15 minutes. Uh, but you can really make a study of this by using the tools that these systems provide. Okay, one other way to do a skip trace is a service called Fiverr. If you haven't done it before, Fiverr, and I'm just going to take a minute. Give me a second here. See if I can. Sorry, I'm going to bring up my browser for a moment. And here's what Fiverr is. If any of you have been a regular watcher of this, you've probably seen me do this before. Here's Fiverr, and oh, by the way, Fiverr is bringing up, showing me information about some of my recent searches. And you can see I do skip tracing. Okay. Here, motivated seller leads. These are things that these folks on Fiverr can help you with. But you just come in here to Fiverr, and, you know, skip trace, and really all skip tracing is, if you don't know, is you give one of these, young IT wizards a list with the names and the home addresses of individuals, and they go out and they're out on the internet, searching in public places, looking for phone numbers, cell phone numbers, and email addresses that are associated with those names and those addresses. And these bots move really fast, and they go in, um, and when they see enough occurrences of this phone number being associated with this person's name and this address, they verify that that's their cell phone number. In any event, so you can do that, and then once you have the list, you get your skip trace list. Uh, you can scrub it for do not call. All right. So you can feed it through and scrub out anyone that's on the do not call list, okay, to stay compliant. If you're concerned about a high bounce rate on the emails that you get from them, you can do this. You can do an email verification. Okay. I mean, this is something that I have done. It's really quite effective. Um, you know, I typically, when I get a phone list of stuff, it's already scrubbed for do not call. But oftentimes I'll get an email list of something that's not, I don't want high bounce rates because I don't want to get flagged. I want my delivery rates to be high. And if your bounce rates are high, your delivery rates are not going to be high. So typically, when I get a list, I'll run it, and I have a specific person that I use that I connected with through Fiverr. I'll scrub it for email verification so that I have a clean list so that my delivery rate is high. And people like Google and so forth, um, don't flag me as junk email as it goes out to potential clients. Okay, so everyone following that? I know that was quite a lot. I'm sorry, I got to get back to where I was because I left my Zoom. But everyone have a sense of where you can get in touch with these people? There are a lot of good services out there. You can sort of do it on your own with Fiverr. But I have seen people have a lot of success with Red-X Mojo Dialer and Vulcan 7. Okay, so you've got the list. You know how to get in touch with with these expired listings. The next thing that you need to do, and if you didn't hear me say it before, I'm going to say it again. You got to be persistent. You've got to be consistent. You've got to commit to doing it every day. You set time, in your schedule on a, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it is you want to put into it. But you've got to be consistent about it. You've got to give yourself enough time to really work it because it's a numbers game. You've got to make a lot of contact. You've got to make a lot of phone calls to start getting those listing appointments, to start getting those listing contracts. Okay. And again, part of the systematic part of this is, and I do this. I'm going to, where's my camera? I don't even know where my darn camera went. Well, I can't find my camera. Here we go. I'm going to show you this. You ready? I'm sitting at my desk. This is what's in front of me all the time. Okay, I know I lifted it up and that's upside down. Okay, I always keep a little sheet of paper in front of me, and I spend a lot of time on the phone. And I will tell you that number one, I have a script. When I'm making phone calls, and I keep my scripts in a Google Doc. So I might be here talking to you. Maybe I'm on Zoom or I'm on the phone, but on my computer screen is my script. All right. And as I go, if in the flow of conversation, I say something, I'm like, wow, that was really good. That really expressed, how much I want to help this person. And I'm not just here to sell. Okay. And that was a great line. I write it down. I type it in my Google sheet and I incorporate it for the next time. So I'm constantly honing the script, and they need to be honed because circumstances change. An expired listing, perhaps they expired because they were worried they couldn't go find another house and they had nowhere to go. Maybe they were even under contract and lost it because they couldn't find adequate housing on the other end. To the extent that that market condition changes, you've got to be scripted and ready for it. Okay. So have a script, and it is not a static thing. The scripts that you use to deal with the circumstances you encounter, those things need to be living documents. Okay, because circumstances are always changing, market conditions are always changing, and you can, pick that up in your scripts, and again, be consistent, be smooth with it. It's not about reading a script, it's about living a script, it's about really internalizing it, which comes with repetition and practice. All right. um, there are lots of script ideas out there that you can get. I'm going to show you one. That's a hyperlink. Let's follow it. Let's follow it. Come on, baby. All right. Now, all right. Anyone in the chat? This is someone you may know. This is an agent, and he operates in the main line. Anyone know his name? Or wait. Oh, it's actually in the caption there.
Something else.
Okay. So, in in any event, this is a video on the channel that Vulcan 7 puts out. This guy's name is Tom Toole. Um, if you're wondering, hey, why should I listen to Tom Toole? I would encourage you to look him up on Zillow and look at how many deals he and his team did in the last 12 months. It's north of 200, I'm pretty sure. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it for you right now. Let's take a look, and let's Zillow stalk Tom Toole. So let's find an agent name. There he is, 464 team sales. So what I would suggest is when someone with 464 sales in the last 12 months puts out a video giving you some instructions and some insights, and he's here talking about expired listings, okay, I would listen to this person. All right. And, he's not alone. If you were here with us a few weeks ago, I did the same thing with a guy named Andy C. Andy C. Built his business through open houses. His numbers, he's about 250 sales in the last 12 months, he and his team. But again, people with sales numbers north of 100 a year, you need to listen to them. When they get on YouTube and they're willing to share uh, their wisdom, their sales technique, you need to listen to them. And Tom does give you some very specific scripting in this particular video. Google it, Tom Toole, Vulcan 7, and you'll probably come right to that video. All right. So get script ideas. Listen to people that are getting results. And yes, sometimes you'll listen to someone's podcast, you'll listen to their YouTube, you'll watch their YouTube, and you'll be like, wow, those sound like great ideas. And then you go on Zillow and you look at their sales results, and it's 5 in the last 12 months. Maybe not someone you should be listening to, but the people that are putting numbers on the board are the people that you should be listening to. And yes, some of them are on YouTube and sharing their insights and their wisdom. So by all means, do what they do. Follow those people. Okay. So let's just talk about the approach to expired listings. And the approach will vary depending on where that expired is in the cycle. Did it just expire? Or, how do you approach them later on? Did it expire 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago? The approaches are different in these two circumstances. So let's talk about the early approach. You've got an expired listing, and just expired. Now, anyone want to hazard a guess? What's happening to those people? It's October 1st today, and people that work expired listings are on it. They know that, boom, that's a day that a bunch of listings are going to expire on the 1st of the month. So, they pull up their list of, maybe they bought it from Red-X, maybe they, took it, got it skip traced. These are the listings that just expired. What do you think is happening to that expired listings phone this morning?
Blowing up.
It's blowing up. They're getting a lot of calls. Okay. So you really have to cut through the clutter. And, perhaps, I'm not saying don't call, um, but you also might want to try a text. You might want to try an email. You might want to try a little, card in their mailbox. You really are, you need sharp elbows early on. They're getting a lot of calls. But if you do get through, you don't want to not call them, because if they truly are ready to relist, you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. Um, you know, you also have to be careful, if you're part of this barrage, like, oh my gosh, the next realtor, every realtor from now on that calls, I'm blocking that number. Every realtor that sends me another email, I'm unsubscribing right away. So you do have to be careful. Um, you know, one of the things that I like, and we're gonna get into it a little bit more, and we do a little bit more specific scripting, is, ask the question, are you still accepting offers? And, if they respond back to you, now you can begin to get into the conversation. You know, like, you know, are you still accepting offers? If they respond back, yes, whether by text or you're on the phone, then the next question is, great. Tell me about the house. Now, the question's a little bit disingenuous because you're a real estate agent and you have access to the MLS, so you know about the house. Um, but you want to get them talking. Tell me about the house, and you just want to get some of that engagement. So if you can make that breakthrough, ask that question, and begin to engage. And we're going to talk about it in a few more slides. That you're trying to assess that notion of DNA, their desire, their need, their ability to sell the house. How badly do they really want to sell it? Um, and you might start to get a sense of that when you say, "Are you still accepting offers? Tell me about the house," and they'll start to tell you about the house. And they may start to tell you, "Yeah, we just we put it up, we just didn't get our price. Um, you know, we, did they put it up half-heartedly, or did they put it up with a goal in mind that they wanted to be out by a certain date for a specific reason?" Okay, so you only get that with engagement, and you have to find a way to cut through um, all the clutter early on. Now, later on, things change. The wave has subsided. Um, they're a little bit more receptive. Um, so it's easier to have a conversation later on. Is there an argument to be made to always wait? Yeah, there probably is, but there's in the early stage, there's always that possibility of you got lucky, you got through, and you had a conversation, and you got an appointment, and you don't want to miss out on that. Um, let's talk about the approach. Again, I'm going to get into the early approach. Yeah, you have to be scripted. Okay. Again, I like the question, are you still accepting offers? Um, maybe you text it to them, maybe you email it to them, maybe you put it in a voicemail. Maybe, if you even show up at the house and ask them. Um, and you may find out, maybe they simply changed their mind. Maybe they withdrew because they changed their mind. Maybe they let it expire because they changed their mind and they stopped showing it. Um, you know, you really want to get into what's their motivation, and you might uncover a deadline. are you still accepting offers? Yeah, yeah, we are. We're thinking maybe we're going to rent it because we need to be out because, starting a new job in Charleston, South Carolina next week. So you may get clues to what their motivation is, or lack thereof. And again, when you start to hear what their motivation is, that motivation is really the problem that they need to solve. It's the goal they're trying to reach. So now you can begin to engage with them on that goal. Okay. Engage with them how you can solve that problem, help them achieve that goal. Okay. Um, in any event, the, keep in mind you're part of this big wave. You do need to stand out. They are still accepting offers, probe for motivation, probe for deadlines. And again, you're evaluating the DNA. So you're trying to get at just who this person really is. And maybe, even though you made the early breakthrough, and even though you had the early conversation, you may find out that just the circumstance that they're in is one where you need to come back later. Okay. And again, I want to sort of direct you to Tom Toole, and he talks about, there's really only four things that can happen when a listing expires, right? They can relist it with the existing agent. They can relist it with a different agent. They can just drop out, stay off the market. They can try to sell it themselves, or they can rent it out. Okay. Those are the only things really that can happen. And when you hear from them which one of those paths they want to go down, then what I suggest to you is help them down that path. Oh, you want to rent it? Great, I can help you with this. Here's a property manager. Here's, I have some potential renters. Be a helpful agent. And maybe they do rent it, but now they're in your CRM. Now they're in your database. And once they've been a landlord for a year, maybe they don't want to be a landlord anymore. So again, you made the early breakthrough. You defined where they were from a desire, need, ability standpoint, what their true motivation was. You helped them. And now down the road, when they really do need the list, you're their person, because it wasn't a hardcore sales approach. It was you trying to help them. And that's really what this is all about. You will break through the clutter as a salesperson if, when you get them on the phone, you are truly trying to help them and they get the sense that you are truly trying to help them. And when they get that, when the time comes for them to sell, they're going to come to you. Hey, we're going to try to put it on the market ourselves. Great. Give them some advice as to how to sell the house themselves. Don't give them all the secrets, but give them some advice. And now you're their advisor. Okay. So again, the early approach, maybe it's bam, they'll, come on out, we got to get this thing sold. But more likely it's an information gathering situation. You'll establish a relationship and be there for them when the time comes that they really do need to sell. Okay. And here's the Tom Toole thing. Only a few things can happen. Either they relist with their current agent, they relist with another agent, they try to sell it themselves, they drop out of the market, or they rent it. So I always like to, go to that Tom Toole video, because he talks about, his scripts. And, in his scripts, he says, like, we're going to try to sell it ourselves. And and he says, well, hey, can I share a concern with you about that? And, I have a concern because I'm trying to help you here. And, all the homes that sold to date in the market, over 98% of them had a listing agent and a buyer's agent. And the other 2% had only a buyer's agent or no agent at all. And those homes without a listing agent, sold for 9 to 17% less than they would have with a listing agent. And I just want to make sure you don't leave money on the table. And by the way, those stats that Tom quoted, that I'm quoting, re-quoting here, are the the Keeping Current Matters article from Collateral Analytics, which was a study that was done a few years ago that showed that homes using a listing agent are selling for more. In any event, you want to have scripts for each of these. I'm going to relist with the current agent. Well, do you really think anything's going to change? Maybe probe a little bit. Why did it expire to begin with? Homes are selling pretty quickly in this market. Um, you know, 30, 45 days to get a house sold. And, you were on the market for 6 months and didn't sell. Why are you going with that agent? And you might start to hear some kinks, some of the cracks in the foundation that you can, the issues they were having with that agent that you can try to solve. Okay. Dropping out of the market, that's fine. I think a good script in the dropping out of the market situation is to say, well, that's fine, but if, just the house was still listed for sale yesterday, just last week, you're asking 550. If you'd have gotten a 550 offer last week, would you have sold it? Would you have gone under contract and sold it last week? What's changed now? You know, Again, tell me about the house. If I have a buyer who comes into the market and your house fits the bill for them, would you consider an offer? Would you show it? Would you consider an offer? And that's that notion of, your expireds or your shadow inventory. That's a good script for someone, thinking of dropping out of the market. Um, and you should be sincere about that. And you should, we'll talk about it in just a moment, use expired listings as a shadow inventory for your buyers that are struggling to find something that they like. And again, by engaging in the conversation, you want to lead it to, okay, great. Tell me about the house. I'd like to know more. Do you mind if I stop by? And if they allow you to stop by, now there's a possibility. And by the way, come with a listing contract and come with a CMA. There's a good possibility you'll get that listing if they let you come by. Obviously, renting it, people may not know what they're getting themselves into. As a landlord, that if they help them, offer them advice, and stay in touch. And when the moment comes that they no longer want to be a landlord, that's, you're there. You've been helpful all along. You should be able to get that appointment and get that listing. Okay, so let's talk about the later on approach. The wave has passed. Okay, the barrage of phone calls has stopped. Maybe it's just a trickle at this point. And I can tell you the really good agents are still going to be doing this. Okay, really good agents just don't let it go. Um, I'll never forget. It was I want to say this was like 2018. It was 2018. I was at some function with one of my daughters. Was talking to another dad in at the high school, and and they had just sold their house, um, and I engage them. Tell me what happened. Well, they had it for sale. The listing expired. They relisted it. I'm going to throw a name out there. They relisted it with Darren Souter, who, if you're in the Camden County, New Jersey area, you probably know Darren. He does a lot of business. And I said, why did you list it the second time with Darren? And he told me, he said, well, Darren just, stayed in touch. The listing expired. We dropped out for a while. Darren consistently called us. So when the time came to, okay, now we're going to do this, they listed with Darren. And Darren listened to them. Their situation was that they had a special needs child and they were dissatisfied with, the approach that the school system was taking with that child. So they decided they wanted to move to a different school district. They kind of vetted for how they would deal with this special needs situation. So they had a real motivation and there was a real deadline there. And Darren was on top of it. So their listing expired. They dropped out of the market for a while, and their reason for dropping out is they wanted to come back around closer to when they could sell, close in the summer and enroll their kids in the new school system. And that's what they did. But again, it was stay on top of people, stay consistent, keep calling them, and once the wave has passed, they'll begin to have real conversations with you. And when you can have real conversations, you can make real sales. Okay, they're likely to be more receptive after that wave is passed. Okay, another thing that you want to do, and this should really become part of your regular sales process when working with buyers. And just follow me here. So you've got a buyer, and you know how it is for buyers right now. We've seen everything. We've made 5 offers. Three of them we got beat out by cash. Two of them, you know, uh, waived inspections and waived the appraisal and making up the appraisal gap. You know, inventory's tight, and you've got a buyer, and they need housing, and they've got desire, need, and ability, and you've been through everything that's currently on the market. You know what? Go into the system, go into your MLS, the parameters that they're looking for, and pull up those parameters: location, beds, baths, amenities, pull it up among the expireds. All right. And, if you're using a system, like a Red-X, a Vulcan 7, or even just getting someone on Fiverr to skip trace for you, get in contact with those people and let them know, I have a buyer. I see that your house expired 8 months ago and you haven't relisted or sold it. Would you accept an offer? Because I have a buyer, and based on everything I'm seeing here, your house suits them well. That's your shadow inventory. Look, you're going to get a lot of no's. It's a little more work than just putting them on, your typical MLS drip. But now you've engaged with someone who did not too long ago want to sell their house. Someone who not too long ago said, yes, I am willing to list with an agent. I want to sell, and I don't necessarily want to do this myself. I want an agent to help me. And now you're bringing them a buyer. So look, you may get there, and it may not be a good fit. If it is, you'll get both sides. I know that says double bubble. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore with the NAR settlement. But if it's a fit and they want to make an offer and you can negotiate it, now you've got both sides of the deal. It's depending on what you can work out with that seller as an agent. All right. If you don't get a fit, you come, you show the house. Maybe it's not right for us. Close, but not quite right. Now maybe you get a listing because you've engaged in a valuable way with that homeowner, a homeowner who, not too long ago was interested in selling. And, again, you've done all the things, you've evaluated the DNA, you know what their goals are, you know what their desires are, and now that you've engaged with them, you can say, hey, look, I understand that this buyer wasn't right. They just didn't connect with this house. But let's talk about what you need and what you're looking to achieve, what you had hoped to achieve last year. I think we can get it done for you now, and go into your to a listing presentation and try to get that listing. So to me, this is if you make this a regular part of your practice, you'll have all the necessary data in terms of contact. But even if it's not, you should always be thinking about those expireds as homes that your frustrated buyers can potentially buy. Okay, because they're probably not going to get the same amount of competition. And again, it's good for them, it's good for you, because you may pick up listings by doing that. All right. I don't want to get too deep into the scripts because we're running out of time here, but obviously, are you still looking to sell? Would you sell if you received the right offer? These are like questions to ask. Okay. Inventory is still tight. If I had a buyer, it would be a good fit. Would you consider letting me show your home with the understanding, we have to put it in writing, that you'll pay me a commission if I can bring the buyer. And these are, conversations that you can have with the expired listings. Tell me about your home. Look, you already know a lot about the home because you can see it in the MLS. Or maybe you don't. Maybe they did a poor job of writing it up. Um, always read what the previous listing had to say. Find out why you think it didn't sell. You might hear some. Honestly, I hear it in talking to people. Just the agent was my uh, sister's best friend who just got licensed, and really didn't know what to do, and wasn't available for showings, things like that. You might hear some amazing things about why they think the house didn't sell. Um, and also, where were you planning to go when the house sold? That's going to speak to motivation. Well, we were going to sell, and we just had our first grandchild, and they're down in Orlando, and we wanted to get the house sold and move down there to be closer to them. You're going to hear a lot about motivation, and it's latching into that motivation, and uh, you know, and a sincere desire to help them get where they want to go, that's going to help you get that listing. Uh, again, you're always evaluating that DNA, that desire, need, and ability, and you're trying to plug into it, and you truly want to help them to help them get to the where it is. And of course, if they're receptive, you know, hey, I would accept offers. Yeah, I'd love for you to come see the house. It sounds nice. Can I come see it this afternoon? Or would tomorrow be better? Um, so yeah, you definitely want to do these things and try to get that appointment with them. All right. Um, I'm going to skip past this because we're running out of time. So at the appointment, you definitely, if they agree to allow you to come see the house, um, treat it like a listing appointment. Be prepared. Have a CMA for them. Um, Bring your resume. I'm a big believer in, hey, look, this is, who I am, and, the successes that I've had. Maybe this is, the team I belong to. If you're a newer agent, this is the brokerage that I belong to. If you're a newer agent, but give them a reason to believe that you can get the job done for them. Um, Bring a property disclosure. If they're actually, gonna list with you, you should have that at the ready. Um, you know, as you tour the home, give them tips on how to, declutter, how to increase curb appeal. Um, you know, Gently sort of, pick out the flaws in the previous agent's work. Maybe it's the photography. Maybe it was, their their lack of a social media campaign. Um, I always like this one. I always tell people to go to Zillow, and on Zillow, you claim the house, it's your house, and then you correct details about the house. Maybe they've got the square footage wrong. Maybe they've got the bed and bath count wrong. And by you correcting the data that Zillow has on your house, you may increase the Zestimate. And and that's something that people look at. And if you're offering, putting it up for sale for something more than the Zestimate, that might discourage people. But if you can boost that Zestimate, that's going to encourage people to come see your house, because now maybe the Zestimate's above your ask price, or the same as your ask price. But again, you want to kind of you know pick out flaws in what that agent did, and you want to get people to think that you have a superior sales process to what they may have experienced in the past. And, oh, by the way, it is a process. It's exposure on Zillow, and it's exposure on social media, and, homes.com, and realtor.com, and so forth. Um, Open house plans. Show them that there is a method. There is a system to selling something. There is a process. And if they see that you've got a process and it's superior to what they experienced before, now they are likely to list with you after they've expired. And I can't say it enough, persistence pays off. Check in with them weekly. If you don't immediately get that listing, um, stay in touch. Either, hey, I have a buyer that might be interested, or, um, you know, call them, drip them with an email as to what's going on in the marketplace, and how, again, they might be able to achieve the goal they had when they originally listed. All right. So, folks, that's it. It is 10:04 a.m. I want to thank everyone for joining me today on Next Top Agent. And I also want to remind people, if you are in the area and you need continuing education credits, please join us on October 22nd and 23rd in Cherry Hill. Again, it's at the Mechanical Brewery. It's at the classroom that's right next door to Mechanical Brewery. So when we're done with our CE credits, we walk through what I call the magic door into the brewery, and we have a graduation party. It's a dinner and open bar in the Mechanical Brewery. Again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for Next Top Agent, and we will see you again next week. Just watch your email and.